Get you, white boy.
At the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to a scene that looks completely harmless. A rundown auto repair shop, baking under the afternoon heat, grease stains on every surface, an old radio crackling in the background. Nothing about this place screams danger, and that's exactly the point. Then the door swings open, and in walks Trouble wearing a smug grin. A low-level gangster named Fresh, flanked by a couple of his goons, saunters in like he owns the block. He's not here to get his car fixed. He's here to shake down the shop owner for protection money, the classic bully tax that guys like him think they're entitled to. He glances at the mechanic, standing quietly by the workbench, wiping oil off his hands with a rag, and assumes he's looking at just another broke, powerless working man. That assumption is about to blow up in his face, because within seconds, this harmless mechanic turns into something out of a nightmare. No wasted movement, no hesitation, just brutal surgical efficiency. Fresh's crew hits the floor before they even understand what happened to them. This isn't a bar fight. This is someone who has killed professionally, and killed often. Fresh scrambles backward, humiliated, snarling that this isn't over, that he'll be back, and then he's gone. So naturally, you're left with one burning question. Who is this guy? To answer that, the film yanks us 5 years into the past, straight into the blistering heat of a war zone in Afghanistan. Helicopter blades chop through the sky, boots hit sand, and we meet our real protagonist, not a mechanic, but a special forces soldier named Jack, a man built for exactly this kind of chaos. Jack is leading his unit through a war-torn village, on a mission to capture a high-priority target. Every step feels like it could be the last one. Then his squad flags a local man acting suspiciously, twitchy, evasive, refusing to cooperate. When the man reaches for something hidden on his body, Jack's team reacts instantly and puts him down. Crisis averted, or so they think, because Jack notices something the rest of the squad missed: wires, buried explosives, dozens of them, laced through the ground beneath their feet. They didn't stumble into a village, they stumbled into a kill zone. Jack radios it in immediately. His commanding officer, a battle-hardened veteran named Tom Mason, hears the situation and gives Jack a direct order: pull back, now, before it's too late. But Jack can't bring himself to abandon the civilians still trapped inside that minefield. Against orders, against every instinct of self-preservation, he kneels down in the dirt and starts defusing the bombs one wire at a time. He gets the first one. His hands are shaking, but he did it. For one brief moment, there's hope. Then everything goes wrong. A second device, hidden somewhere in a nearby building, detonates without warning. The explosion is catastrophic. It levels the compound and wipes out Jack's entire squad in an instant. Jack is hurled through the air like a rag doll, and the last thing he remembers is darkness. He only survives because Mason charges into the burning wreckage himself and drags him out before the whole place collapses. Jack's body heals. His mind never does. Fast forward to the present. Gone are the deserts and gunfire. Now it's quiet suburban streets and unpaid bills. We find Jack hunched over a bathroom sink, staring at a stranger in the mirror, popping antidepressants just to get through the day. The war never really ended for him. It just moved into his head, where his dead squad mates still scream every single night. These days, Jack works at that same garage we saw in the opening scene, under the wing of a man named Earl, a former criminal who walked away from that life and now treats Jack like the son he never had. Earl gave Jack a second chance at a normal existence, even if normal for Jack means barely holding himself together. And somehow, despite the flashbacks, despite the guilt, despite the debt piling up on the kitchen table, Jack still has something worth living for: his wife and his young son, Weston. When he's playing with that little boy, you catch a glimpse of the man Jack used to be before the war took him apart. His wife worries about their financial mess, but Jack wraps his arms around her and promises he'll fix everything. He has no idea how wrong that promise is about to go. Remember Fresh, the thug Jack embarrassed at the shop? Turns out, guys like that don't just slink away and forget. Earl warns Jack directly: "You humiliated a man with an ego and a temper, and pride like that doesn't forgive." That warning becomes horrifyingly real that same evening. Jack drives home after a long shift, and something feels off the second he turns onto his street. Fresh's car is parked in the shadows, engine idling, headlights off. Fresh looks straight at Jack, flashes a chilling smile, and drives away without a word. Jack's stomach drops. He doesn't wait. He sprints for his front door and throws it open. And the silence inside the house is the loudest, most terrifying sound he's ever heard. What Jack discovers next is the kind of gut punch that changes a movie forever. His wife, his son, both gone, murdered in cold blood, right there in his own living room. In one heartbeat, everything Jack rebuilt after the war is erased. He collapses to the floor, and the scream that comes out of him isn't just grief. It's the sound of a man's entire soul breaking in half. The police show up and go through the usual motions. Do you have enemies? Does anyone want to hurt you? But Jack isn't listening. He already knows exactly who did this, and exactly where to find him. And he's not interested in waiting for a courtroom to deliver justice. That night, Jack loads a gun, gets in his car, and drives straight into hell. He tracks Fresh to a nightclub packed with bodies and pulsing lights, and he moves through that crowd like death itself, focused entirely on one target. When he finally finds Fresh hiding in a VIP booth, the swagger is completely gone. Fresh is begging, sobbing, insisting he never wanted to hurt the kid, that someone above him, some much bigger, much darker organization, forced his hand. That's the moment you lean forward in your seat, because Fresh is about to say a name that could unravel this entire conspiracy. But grief doesn't wait for answers. Before Fresh can say another word, Jack pulls the trigger, and that lead, the one thread that could have explained everything, dies with him. Police swarm the club. Jack doesn't run, doesn't fight, doesn't even flinch. He just drops his weapon and lets them take him. His revenge is complete, but there's no relief in his eyes, only emptiness. He's convicted of murder and thrown into a maximum security prison for the rest of his life. 5 months pass, and prison isn't the danger for Jack. His own mind is. He paces his cell obsessing over Fresh's final words. Someone ordered the hit on his family. Someone with power. But who? And why? Then, out of nowhere, an old face shows up on the other side of the visitation glass. Tom Mason, the commander who once dragged him out of a burning battlefield. Mason simply wants to check on him. But Jack, hollowed out by rage and grief, tells him to get lost and never come back. That same night, something even stranger happens. A sharply dressed stranger named Ramsey strolls into the prison block like he's untouchable, because as it turns out, he basically is. Ramsey claims to run a secretive, off-the-books government operation, and he knows every detail of Jack's file. His combat record, his trauma, his dead family. He offers Jack a deal, freedom, in exchange for using his lethal skills for what Ramsey calls the greater good. Jack tells him exactly where he can put that offer. Ramsey isn't the type to accept no. That night, armed men storm Jack's cell, sedate him before he can react. And when Jack wakes up, he's no longer behind bars. He's standing on the roof of a skyscraper, with Ramsey grinning down at him like he's already won. Ramsey lays it all out. A clean record, total freedom, and a new mission in life. And Jack, a man who has already lost everything that ever mattered to him, starts to wonder if maybe this is the only path left. He's taken to a massive underground facility, the secret home base of an organization calling itself Section 8, a black ops team of elite killers who handle the jobs no government will ever officially admit to authorizing. According to Ramsey, their job is simple: eliminate dangerous threats before they can hurt anyone else. But the team doesn't trust the new guy. To prove himself, Jack is thrown into a sparring match against Ajax, the group's most violent and arrogant fighter. Ajax tries to provoke him, tries to break him mentally before he can break him physically. Instead, Jack dismantles him with terrifying precision, and just like that, the coldest killers on the planet start looking at him differently. His very first real mission comes almost immediately. He's paired with a deadly, ice-cool operative named Mueller, and together they're sent after an arms dealer named Alejandro Castillo, a man preparing to sell classified military intel to dangerous buyers. Simple enough, except Ramsey's orders come with a brutal catch: leave no witnesses. Everyone at that meeting dies. No exceptions. Jack can't help but ask Mueller the obvious question: are they soldiers, or are they just hired killers? Mueller's answer is ice cold. They're whatever the mission requires them to be. The operation goes loud fast. Gunfire erupts everywhere, and in the chaos, Jack corners Castillo and demands answers about the stolen files. But something in Castillo's panicked reaction doesn't add up. He seems genuinely confused, like Ramsey's story about the mission doesn't match reality at all. Then Jack notices something Ramsey definitely didn't mention: several terrified young women trapped in the back of Castillo's vehicle, innocent bystanders caught up in a war that isn't theirs. His orders say kill everyone. His conscience says something very different. In that split second, memories of his own murdered family flash through his mind, and Jack makes a choice. He lowers his weapon and lets them live. Back at headquarters, Ramsey is furious. He warns Jack that mercy is a liability in this line of work, that leaving witnesses could get them all killed. And the second Jack walks away, Ramsey quietly instructs Mueller to keep a close eye on their new recruit. If Jack breaks the rules again, he becomes a problem that needs solving. Which brings us to the mission that changes absolutely everything. Ramsey gathers the team and pulls up a photo that makes the entire room go silent. A sitting United States Senator named Jim Graham. According to Ramsey, Graham is secretly selling classified intelligence to hostile foreign powers, and Section 8 has been ordered to shut him down permanently, infiltrate his rally, steal his data, and eliminate him before he can flee the country. The day of the operation, the rally is absolutely packed. Police, security, thousands of supporters cheering in the crowd. Mueller slips inside to steal the files, while Jack takes position on a rooftop with a sniper rifle locked on the senator's chest. Ramsey's voice crackles through the earpiece. Take the shot. Jack's finger tightens on the trigger, and then his blood runs cold. The senator's wife and young child walk out onto the stage, hugging him in front of the entire cheering crowd. Suddenly, Jack isn't looking at a target anymore. He's looking at a family, just like the one he lost. His hands start shaking. He can't do it. He freezes completely, and that's when a shot rings out that didn't come from Jack's rifle at all. Ajax, disgusted by Jack's hesitation, has taken the shot himself. The senator drops, the rally explodes into pure panic, and Section 8's entire operation collapses into absolute chaos as security opens fire on the retreating team. They barely make it out alive. Inside the getaway vehicle, Jack grabs Ajax by the throat, enraged that he fired a kill shot into a crowd filled with innocent civilians and a child. Ajax shoves back, snarling that hesitation isn't tolerated in Section 8. In that moment, Jack realizes the horrifying truth. He isn't working with soldiers. He's working with monsters. And now that he's seen too much and broken too many rules, Jack understands something chilling. He's not an asset to this organization anymore. He's a liability. And Section 8 doesn't let liabilities walk away. He disappears completely, ditching the team and going fully off the grid. Just as expected, Ramsey's men come looking to permanently silence him. But Jack's training keeps him one step ahead, and he slips through their fingers and vanishes into the city. Desperate for the truth, Jack tracks down the one man who might actually have answers, Tom Mason. And what Mason tells him detonates everything Jack thought he understood. Section 8, the legitimate Black Ops task force Ramsey claims to run? It doesn't exist. Not officially, anyway. The real Section 8 was shut down years earlier. What Jack has actually been working for is a rogue criminal syndicate, run by powerful elites who use trained killers to eliminate political threats, silence whistleblowers, and rake in millions doing it. Jack is sick to his stomach. He's been murdering people to line the pockets of criminals hiding behind government titles. And then comes the piece of the puzzle that turns his stomach even harder. While digging into his old neighborhood to figure out why Fresh targeted his family in the first place, Jack runs into a kid who used to play with his son. The boy mentions something strange. In the days before the murder, unfamiliar men in black suits, military types, were seen coming and going from Fresh's territory. Suddenly it clicks. Fresh wasn't just some random street thug acting on his own. He had help. Powerful help. And while Jack is busy putting these pieces together, someone else is watching him from a rooftop across the street, a sniper with ice in his veins. His name is Locke, Section 8's most feared and precise assassin, and he's just received one very simple order from Ramsey: find Jack and end him. With killers closing in from every direction, Jack retreats to the one place that still feels safe, Earl's garage. In a rare, quiet, deeply emotional moment, Jack thanks Earl for everything, for treating him like a son when the rest of the world had given up on him. That moment of peace lasts about 10 seconds before gunfire tears through the walls. Section 8's hit squad has found him. Bullets rip through metal and glass, oil drums explode, and Jack and Earl are forced to fight for their lives behind whatever cover they can find. Just as Jack's ammo runs dry and it looks like it's over, a car smashes straight through the garage door, plowing through the attackers. It's Mueller. She's here to save him, or so she claims. She tells Jack she's had enough of Ramsey's madness, that she wants out, and that helping him is her way of walking away clean. Every instinct in Jack's body says don't trust her, but with bullets flying and no other options, he leaves Earl behind in hiding and jumps into her car. Together, they head straight for Section 8's headquarters, determined to end Ramsey once and for all. They make it inside, and then everything goes black. Jack wakes up strapped to a chair, his vision blurry, his body aching, and when his eyes finally focus, the betrayal hits him like a freight train. Mueller never intended to help him escape. She led him directly into a trap. But the worst betrayal is still coming. The door creaks open, and standing there, casual as ever, is Tom Mason, the man Jack trusted more than anyone left alive. Ramsey and the others gleefully reveal the full, horrifying scheme. Section 8 needed a killer with no attachments, no hesitation, no reason to ever second-guess an order. But Jack had a family. He had love in his life. He had a reason to freeze at the worst possible moment. So they engineered his destruction from the very beginning. They hired Fresh to slaughter Jack's wife and son, knowing it would send him to prison and shatter him just enough to accept Ramsey's offer. They didn't just recruit Jack, they built the tragedy that created him. Once Ramsey, Mueller, and the rest of the team leave to celebrate their payday in the vault, Mason is left alone in the room with Jack. And this is where the movie delivers its biggest twist. The moment the door clicks shut, Mason drops to his knees and starts cutting Jack free. He was never actually part of Ramsey's inner circle. He's been undercover for years, gathering evidence to bring the entire organization down from within. But time has run out. Tonight is the night Section 8 falls, one way or another. Jack stands up, rolling the tension out of his shoulders, and something in his eyes shifts completely. The grief is still there, but now it has purpose behind it. Mason hands him a rifle. What follows is an absolute powder keg of an action sequence. Jack storms into the vault, and Ramsey and Mueller barely have time to react before he's already moving through the room with brutal, unstoppable precision. Mueller reaches for her weapon, but she's simply too slow. Jack ends the fight before it even starts. Ramsey scrambles backward, all his confidence gone, offering Jack money, freedom, anything to survive. Jack isn't interested in any of it. He steps forward, looks the man who orchestrated his family's murder directly in the eyes, and delivers the line that ends it all, before finishing what he came here to do. Section 8, the organization built on Jack's tragedy, finally collapses. As the dust settles, a high-ranking military figure named General Sevoy arrives on the scene. The man Mason had secretly been reporting to this entire time. Sevoy looks at the carnage, then looks at Jack with unmistakable respect, and offers him something he never expected: a clean record and a legitimate future working directly under his command. You'd think that would be the end, but the movie has one final gut punch waiting. Jack returns home to gather his things, and finds Locke waiting for him in the shadows. Even with Ramsey dead and the contract technically worthless, Locke refuses to walk away from an unfinished job. His entire identity is built on completing what he starts. What follows is a raw, exhausting, bone-crunching brawl that tears the house apart piece by piece. No fancy gunplay here, just two of the deadliest men alive, beating each other into the ground. But Jack has already survived losing everything once. He's not losing again. In the end, he's the one left standing. In the final moments, Jack calls Earl from a payphone and leaves him an emotional voicemail, thanking him for everything, for the second chance, for the fatherly love Jack never thought he'd get again. Earl listens back at the garage with tears in his eyes. The movie ends with Jack boarding a bus toward an unknown future, pulling General Sevoy's card out of his pocket, staring at it for a long moment, and then reaching for his phone. Because deep down, we all know, a man like Jack was never really done. All right, if you made it all the way to the end of this breakdown, I need you to do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button right now, because genuinely, it hurts my feelings a little when you don't. I spent hours breaking this entire movie down scene by scene, so you didn't have to sit through the whole thing yourself, and the least you can do is smash that subscribe button before you go. Drop a comment below and tell me which movie you want explained next. I read every single one. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown, and I'll see you in the next video.